Star Wars Battlefront 2, we're doing another comparison. Today we're looking at, on the left, the Xbox Series X, and on the right, Xbox 360. So for context, this did originally launch on the original Xbox, so the 360 version kind of is emulated backwards compatibility, something along those lines, similar to the Series X being, using the backwards compatibility program in order to run it. I do not have the original disc, so basically, it's just running off the 360. Because that is the oldest version I could find for it. So yeah, this is a bit of a legendary title. I love it. I've played it for years. I still go back and enjoy it, and I still find it to be a really good time. So we set up a few different kind of setups, a few different maps, and you're going to be able to enjoy them as we roll through these. And again, they're not perfectly lined up because that's kind of impossible to do in a game where AI is moving around in all different ways and the reactions are always different. So with that, on the left, on the Xbox Series X, we get a 4K resolution. Both of these are at 30 FPS, and we do have auto HDR support. On the right, with the 360, it's basically 480p, but we do get widescreen, which is kind of cool. No HDR, same frame rate, obviously, like I just mentioned, and that kind of gives you the context of the visuals. So like with the first Battlefront title, if you jumped into that comparison, maybe not, I've shown off both of them now, you can see that the sharpness is greatly improved. It's the clarity and basically the depth of the environment is a lot more present, and it just kind of pops. Like you can see right here with this room, it just a lot sharper, everything's a lot cleaner. It really does make a massive improvement from the character models to the actual textures of the world that you are moving through. Everything is infinitely sharper and much better to look at. The lightsaber pops, the character models are very smooth, the reflections are insane. Like on the Death Star here, this, on the left, it looks like a brand new game that just came out. It is absolutely amazing what they're able to do with the sharpness. Like this map here, the Death Star, is such a perfect showcase of color vibrancy and reflection design. It just looks absolutely amazing and just gorgeous in general. It's incredible. But I'd have to say the biggest thing here for me is the character models and the distance at which they are a lot sharper. So on the 360 version, they're very rough, they're very jagged around the edges, and it gets really bad from a distance. Whereas Series X, they're clean, you can see the character models from very far distances, they look sharp, you can tell exactly what they are, and it looks just great. It plays so smoothly. I also, from what I recall, 360-wise, there's a little bit of screen tearing here or there. It wasn't necessarily the perfect experience, whereas Series X, very clean, very smooth, very quality. And it's just, again, a big part of these, backwards compatible titles running in this way. A lot of it is the clarity. It's a lot sharper. So the distance, everything seems a lot more, it stands out better. It looks more realistic. It's more smoothed out. And it doesn't look as blurry, which is, obviously a big benefit. If you're trying to enjoy these types of games today, you might look at the one on the right and be like, oh, that's it's looking horrible. And then you look on the left and you're like, wow, this is definitely something I can try and play and get into. And I think that's fantastic. It also seemed to help a little bit with some of the environmental loading in some areas. It seemed to be improved a bit, and just, again, performance completely stable, obviously on Series X. And the main goal here was to show off a few different maps that I quite like, and put on low tickets so that I could kind of, get them evened up so you could see almost the full matches. So we opened up with Coruscant, Death Star, we got Felucia here, and then Hoth and Mustafar, finally with a full one that's not actually a side-by-side, just a full showcase Magito, so you can see what that one looks like and see the full screen kind of effect, as to say, which I thought might be fun. So these videos are quite a lot of work to put together, so be sure to like the video, and then more people can check it out. Subscribing is cool too, and I hope you guys just kind of like these comparisons. They're a lot of fun for me, and yeah, this one slightly easier because I don't have to perfectly line them up, but it's still quite a bit to get this, kind of going. Oh yeah, and on the Felucia one, you can kind of see that, I think, right now. On the top of the screen there's a weird sort of effect issue. And I don't know if that's just a native part of the game that's caused, but it's so weird to look at seeing that. kind of pop up there. I wasn't quite sure what that was specifically in this. It was just really, really weird. But yeah, the character models are just so much smoother. And like the lightsaber is so clean, and you know, you see on the ground and everything like that. It looks great. You're gonna see like a huge effect of this sharpness when we get onto the Hoth level here. It's quite a significant jump up, at least I think so. And it's great that these like boosts of the visual quality are such, like they apply to everything. It's like such a full all-around upgrade that it's actually just kind of unreal to experience and see. And I think this map looks just kind of really creepy and lovely. They did such a good job on this back in the day. It still has like a neat sense of atmosphere that I think holds up beautifully well even now. So here's Hoth. I think this is one of the biggest changes. So this was in the first Battlefront game too. It's a similar, basically the same level. Wow, I'm actually surprised that's lined up so well. Anyways, you know, completely unintentional on this part. Usually I perfectly try to match myself, but here I just kind of, playing and fight and everything like that. But like the character model, you see kind of the snow texturing. It's so much more defined and sharp. It looks more realistic as snow. All the characters out in the backdrop, because this one gives you a little bit bigger of a line of sight in regards to seeing where all the characters are fighting and running about too. And I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, this looks big upgrade here, definitely. Also, like the gun models, it just looks a lot sharper on the Series X. And then you look at like the texturing of the actual character themselves, I think looks a lot more defined. No rough edges, very smooth. Yeah, I think these comparisons actually turned out pretty well, because I was kind of like, I don't know if it's going to be quite perfect. I mean, they're very different sort of like setups for the missions, but I think the lineups have actually been kind of even so far on this one, which is kind of nice. I think the right side should maybe get Pilot Luke too, but yeah, that character looks a lot better on the 361. He's like so jagged. I mean, I don't even know if this does perfect justice to the comparison what I see on the TV. The difference between the two of them is just astronomical. Like, it was so hard to pick out like enemies and stuff on 360, and then Series X is just like so clean. It's nuts actually. Here we go. This is the final comparison. I thought Mustafar would be just a perfect map because of the lava, the way it kind of pops and everything like that. And it's just kind of like a weirdly beautiful and somewhat quite accurate depiction of what I think of the area from the movie being. So that's kind of cool. But you're noticing it's super like hazy and sort of blurry on the 360, whereas the lighting and the colors just sort of seem to really pop and perfectly hit their target on this one. So I think that's kind of awesome. And also Obi-Wan looks way sharper. way more sharper. But yeah, I do hope you kind of enjoyed this showcase. Again, we're showing just a bit of Mustafar here, and then it's going to end with a full scale look at my Jito, which I think is kind of just a good little beautiful showcase of the game running on Series X. So you can really see the upgrade of it, and yeah, kind of awesome to be able to showcase Battlefront 2 again. I always love excuses to go back and showcase one of my favorite titles ever made, because it's just fantastic.
The Republic is in control of a command post. They're losing reinforcements. Keep it up. A command post has been lost, but not the battle. The Republic is in control of a command post. Hostile reinforcements are being depleted. Another command post for the Republic. Hostile reinforcements are being depleted. Enemy reinforcements are decreasing. Battle is ours. The Republic is in control of a command post. They're losing reinforcements. Command post.